Why I Stopped Being a Racist, Part 1. I've been asked probably well over 1,000 times in the comments and messages why I chose to confront my own racism and my prejudice ideology. So I thought I'd just have an honest conversation with you and break it down over a few parts and let you see into the mind of someone like me, the way I grew up, and the man I'm becoming. Now, here's the crazy thing. I've only ever known one racist in my life for sure, and that's me, because I can't speak into the hearts and minds of another human being and what they think and feel. That's not fair and that's prejudicial of me. So I'm the only one I've ever known, so I feel I can speak with authority about this. I'm not calling out other people who are. This is simply about my evolution and the things I confronted and some of the difficulties and some of the beautiful parts of this. This is not an easy thing for me to do. This is kind of laying my soul bare. So if you would, let me know if this is something you want me to continue in the comments, please, because it's going to take a lot for me to invest emotionally to be open about this. Now, why is it I grew up with so much prejudice and bias and discrimination in my life? Well, I grew up in a small town in Arkansas, and I am Arkansas proud. Let me just say that right off the top. But I grew up with people who taught me these things, and it was instilled in me. I mean, it was just reinforced over and over. And then for the most part, I lived in an echo chamber of other people who thought the same thing. So I didn't know it was possible to think any other way. I was raised Christian. I cannot explain to you why my faith in God, my morality, and my racism took so long to cross paths. I can't explain it, but it probably took about 40 years to figure that out. There's a whole series of events in my life, I guess, ultimately that led up to this. And prison was probably one of the biggest catalysts, because when you're on 23-1 lockdown with someone of a different color from you in the same cell, you shut your mouth and you listen. You ask questions. And I had so many different cellmates from different countries, from different races and heritages. And it just really opened my mind. And sitting in prison, I had a lot of time to think. And I had some old timers tell me I need to do my time. Don't let my time do me. And those are good words of advice. But I started digging deep into myself and my flaws, and because I was probably the biggest ass I knew at that time, and I wasn't proud of that at all. And I knew I needed to change if I wanted to live a productive and healthy life and just be somebody likable. I just couldn't see the world for the way it really was. And that breaks my heart that it took me so long to see it. But the beauty that is born from this change, Amir, this growth is just crazy. God is amazing. If you're committed to being a racist in this country, you can't unsee what I'm about to show you. Part 2. Do you see that little doohickey on the wall right there, the little white thing? That's called your thermostat. That's how you control your AC. That was invented by David Crossway, who got his engineering degree right here in Indiana at Purdue University. He's so cold, he designed the heating system for Radio City Music Hall and Rockefeller Center. Sorry, racists, no AC this summer. This is really going to mess your shit up. The porcelain toilet as we know it was designed by Thomas Elkins in 1872. Hey, come here. How many races does it take to change a light bulb? None. They don't want to be enlightened. Which is too bad, because the carbon filament in the light bulb that we've grown up and used, that lights up really bright, was invented by Lewis Latimer, who's one of the chief engineers for Thomas Edison, and he helped design the telephone with Alexander Graham Bell. I mean, you can't even do something as simple as open the door, because that door handle was patented in 1878 by Osborne Dorsey. Yeah, sorry guys. I guess you probably were raised in a barn. And if you think you want to call all your buddies to come meet you at the laundromat so you can wash your white sheets together, because let's face it, if you're still a racist, you don't have a dryer, you don't have a gas furnace heater, you don't have a thermostat to control your AC, you can't open your doors without a doorknob, and you especially cannot call your buddies without the cell phone. You're going to have to get rid of these, like I said, because Henry Sampson, a black genius inventor, patented and invented the gamma ray process, which uses radio waves to transmit and received audio signals, which is what makes cell phones able to communicate with each other, and changed all our lives significantly. Listen, in all seriousness, if you still really are committed to being a racist, it's getting hard in the yard out here for y'all, because I've now made you aware of some things that you didn't know. And this is just a tiny tip of the iceberg of all the ways people of color have improved our lives in measurable and quantifiable ways. Our world would not be nearly as far along as it has without the inventions and contributions of all these Americans. So again, I hope that this opens your eyes a little bit to how much white and black culture are actually intertwined in a good and great positive way.
Hi amazing friends, I hope you are doing well. Welcome back to the channel. I appreciate your love and support. So today we are featuring a gentleman who goes by the TikTok name White George, and of course it's not his first time here. I've used some of his clips before, and I must admit that I'm addicted to his content because of the amazing information that he always delivers. And today we are diving into one of his powerful video whereby he admitted that he used to be a racist until he started learning about the amazing contribution of Black Americans. And honestly, it hit me because a lot of people don't really know how much of what we use every single day exists because of Black brilliance. So let's hear from him, and I will come back and talk more about it. Do not forget to like this video, subscribe too, and also do not forget to leave your opinion in the comment section. Thank you.
Now, if you're still committed to being a racist in this country, here's some things that you cannot unsee. Part 3, the garage sale. If you're still on that racist trip, I got some bad news for you. Your Nectar of the Gods Hidden Valley Ranch dressing was created by a black Nebraska cowboy named Steve Henson. And what many people might not know is he was a plumbing contractor in Alaska and made his fortune up there. And he created the dry powder ranch seasoning and gave it out to his employees, and they loved it. And when he retired and bought Hidden Valley Ranch in California, hence the name Hidden Valley Ranch, he started to sell it. Now, he ended up selling it to Clorox Bleach, which they still own, which is a little weird when you think about it. The perfect white condiment sold to a company that makes a chemical that makes everything white. What did Mr. Henson know that he's not telling us? I almost feel sorry for you a little bit on this one. See that television behind me? There's a black badass American named Otis Boykin who developed a wire precision resistor for these TVs, which helped control the flow of electricity. More importantly, 2 years later, he improved upon this in 1961, making versions that could withstand extreme changes in pressure and temperature. Now, why is this important? Because TVs that work in Denver, Colorado would not work correctly in Little Rock, Arkansas. That being a very humid, hot state, Colorado being very dry, and then different air pressure up there. This greatly reduced the cost of TVs because you could mass produce them and sell them in Texas and Alaska, the same model. But wait, there's more. This man also developed the control unit for the pacemaker, which exists in over 1 million people today. So if you're racist, you probably know somebody's life who was saved by Otis Boykin. And the TV you watch, Otis Boykin. And he also helped design guided missile systems for the military. Yeah, told you he's a badass. Oh, you're not going to like this. Not the lawnmower. Yep. Now, while Albert Burr did not invent the lawnmower, he did patent the mechanical lawnmowers you see pictured above, which has design elements that are used to today's mowers, as well as his original mechanical design is making a huge comeback with people being really conscious about climate change. I guess some people are going to be hiring a lawn service now. Can't be using a lawnmower improved upon by a black man. This one's going to sting. The ultimate white powder, sugar.
Norbert Ryu, a black Creole Cajun man from Louisiana, was obsessed with steam engines and was a widely regarded expert in them. He developed an evaporator process that has revolutionized the entire sugar industry, and some of his principles are still used today. Gotta go.
So after all this, if you are still down with this racist gig, a lot of your shit's got to go. I mean, you're going to have a huge garage sale. And I just have one thing to say to all the stuff you got to get rid of.
If you're really committed to being a racist in this country, you can't unsee what I'm about to show you. You might want to start checking Amazons for blankets, because this gas furnace behind me, you don't get to have one of those either, because that was invented by a black woman named Alice Parker around 1920. She received a patent on it. Yeah, that's how we stay warm today.
I mean, if you love potato chips, they got to go, because a man named George Crumb, a chef in New York, had sent French fries out with a meal and a customer complained. So what did Mr. Crumb do? He sliced potatoes so thin, fried them up, dumped a bunch of salt on them, and sent them out. And that is the American delight of potato chips. They got to go.
Here in the bathroom, Lotta Newman patented the first hairbrush with synthetic bristles in 1898. And she's just the third black American woman to ever receive a patent. Now, I know this isn't going to affect those skinheads very much.
In 1892, George Sampson of Dayton, Ohio, received patent number 476,416 for what is the forerunner of the modern dryer we use today. It's going to suck drying your clothes outside.
In the late 1880s, Samuel Scotron of Pennsylvania patented the curtain rod. Ooh, let's go piss off some white girls. It's going to be really hard to plan racist rallies without a color monitor. Invented by Mark Dean, an engineer at IBM, he is also on 3 of the original 9 patents of the IBM PC that came out in 1981. Did you know in 1897, Albert Crowell in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, developed the mechanized ice cream scoop? You know, the click, click that separates the ice cream from the spoon, changing the way ice cream is served. And if you're racist and an ice cream lover, it's going to get worse. I told you it's going to get worse. Augustus Jackson, the father of ice cream, pioneered many of the methods we have today to enjoy ice cream, including the way we salt it. Another thing about being a racist, you're going to have to give up the freezer and frozen foods, because Frederick McKinley Jones of Ohio, who was orphaned at 9 years old with a 6th grade education, a young biracial boy, grew up to invent Thermo King, which is the reason why we have frozen foods that are shipped and stored in stores and our homes. You got to give up ice cream and frozen pieces? So if you still want to be a racist, there are some things you're going to need to purge from your life. If you would, just put it out on the curb. I'll send some trucks around to pick it up, and we'll go give it to real Americans who really need it.
If you're still committed to being a racist in this country, here are some things you can't unsee. Part 10 and the series finale, the knockout punch. We're taking some people back to the Stone Age today. It's going to be hard to text message or call your racist friends without the cell phone. Now, Henry Sampson did not invent the cell phone, but he invented the gamma electric cell and patented it, which was crucial for the development of cell phone technology. But what if Henry Sampson hadn't come up with that? Well, there's a man named Jesse Eugene Russell, who is the man that created the concept for wireless digital technology and the way cell phones communicate with each other and the cell towers. Previous to him, it was only car to car. Before I continue, it's been a lot of fun making these videos, and I have learned a lot, and it has just introduced me to a whole new world of friends here on social media. So would you please like this video, put a smiley face in the comments, and absolutely repost this. I would love to send this video out with a bang, just like the first one did. Do you see this? Do you see that man? That's Mark Dean. That's the man who led the team that created the first color PC monitor. But wait, there's more. Mark Dean and his team also created the first gigahertz computer chip. I lied. There's even more.
He was the chief engineer on the team for IBM that designed their first PC, and he is listed on 3 of the 9 patents associated with it. Way to go, Mark Dean. And how are you going to watch home videos of your family looking all cute in their sheets and pillowcases at family events without the television? Now, while Otis Boykin did not invent the television, what he created is a variable resistance wire that was not affected by temperature, humidity, moisture, things that all around the country, like Denver and Phoenix, would be completely different regions, and each of those TVs would not work in those areas respectively. His invention allowed televisions to be mass produced so they could be shipped everywhere, significantly driving down the cost of them so we can afford them. This technology is still used today. Not only this dude is so badass that when his mom died of heart failure, he put his mind to a solution. He invented the control device for pacemakers. Kind of hard to do much in the dark, isn't it? Lewis Latimer is the one who invented the carbon filament for light bulbs that Thomas Edison used to actually make the light bulb work. But that's not all. He is also the draftsman who drew the illustrations on Alexander Graham Bell's patent for the telephone. You won't really be able to enjoy 3D either because Valerie Thomas was an engineer and mathematician so brilliant that she is the one who figured out the concept of how to transmit images from space using mirrors, convex and concave mirrors, to reproduce it, giving us 3D. She also had a massive impact in how we use satellites to determine weather patterns and how we can use that to grow crops more effectively. Have you ever heard of a Thomas guide? You're going to need to learn how to use one because GPS, that's not for you anymore. The lovely Dr. Gladys West, who worked for the U.S. Navy Surface Warfare Center, and figured out the mathematics and computations on the tidal forces and gravity, how they affect the planet, which opened the doors for us to have GPS with the accuracy that we know today. You're not going to be able to play video games with your kids anymore because Jerry Lawson in 1976 invented the first console game cartridge playing system for television. That's a precursor to Atari, Nintendo, ColecoVision, Sega, and on and on. And for those of you who still don't get it, this entire video series is a tongue-in-cheek way to make fun of the white racist stereotype while celebrating and honoring and showing respect to the inventions and contributions of people of color that has made the American experience so great. If you have a problem with that, I can't help you. I sincerely appreciate all the love, comments, reposts that I've been shown for doing these videos. Y'all have made this experience amazing to do this. So I really appreciate it. So as always, have a great day.
Welcome back, dear friends. Sometimes we take for granted the things that we use every day. But if we really stop and look at it, so much of modern life has Black genius written all over it. I'm gonna give you a few examples that I did research on because even me, I got to realize that I was lied to, especially when it comes to who started or who found the phone that you and me are using right now. I was told that it was discovered by Chinese, but the name was not given specifically. So trust me, the amazing contributions of Black Americans, the list is just incredible. So let's start with technology. And when I say technology, I'm talking about cell phone, something that many of us carry every day in our hands, right? You see, I'm also learning because, like I said earlier, I was lied to. I was told that the cell phone that we use was discovered from China. Maybe the person was meaning that most of the phones that we use comes from China. I wouldn't know. But this is what I was told. But I'm also glad that today I'm learning that it was actually made by a Black man. Isn't that amazing? Now, let's look at computers. Mark Dean, a Black American engineer at IBM, was not just on the team that built the first personal computer. He was actually one of the leading forces. He holds multiple patents, including for the ISA bus system, which allows us to connect printers, monitors, and drives to a computer. Basically, the reason personal computers became so practical and useful is because of him. Black brilliance is something that no one can ever even try to think of where the source is from, because it's something that Black people are born with. You can't take away from them and you can't even stop it. Now, let's think about our cities. Imagine driving without lights. Total chaos, right? Now, who did it? Who made driving so easy for us today? Garrett Morgan, a Black inventor, gave us the modern traffic signal in the 1920s. He also invented the gas mask, which saved countless lives, especially in World War I. Then there is Alexander Miles, who patented the automatic elevator doors. Without that, skyscrapers would never have been as safe and accessible as they are today. Wow. Who are they? Who are we, right? I know that's the question you're asking yourself. It's a video I put. A woman was talking about how special Black people are. Like, how does it feel like to be a Black person? How special it is, because God really took his time to create Black people. So let's move to the next in the list. Frederick N.C. Kinley Jones changed the entire food and medical industry when he invented the refrigerated truck. That one invention made it possible to transport fresh food across long distances and even safely deliver blood and medicine during war. I tell you, Black people, you are so blessed. And that part continues. You can't talk about medicine without mentioning Dr. Charles Drew. He pioneered the concept of blood banks and storage, which has saved millions of lives worldwide. His research during World War II created systems that are still in use today. Imagine how many lives have been saved just by a one man's contribution. And even today, I've seen so many contents of Black Americans who are just incredible. Like, the kind of brilliance that Black Americans have is something that nobody can compare it with anything else. Even the little things that bring joy trace back to Black innovation. Now, imagine without George Crumb, I wouldn't like potato chips like the way I like them now. Like, I wouldn't have even known anything about it, by the way. Potato chips is one of my favorite snacks. Oh my God. Black people, you are too much. When you put all of this together, you get to realize that this is not just about Black history. It's world history, because these inventions and discoveries made America what it is today, and it also influenced the whole planet. But you see, the most annoying part of it is that so many people never hear about them. Or if they hear about them, it will be totally different because the history books always leave this part out, or they will change it into something else. And it's really awful because the credit is supposed to be given to the real owners, not those who came and claim it's theirs. And seeing someone who admitted being a racist finally learn these contributions, it makes sense why it changed their perspective. Because once you know the truth, you can't unsee it, and you can't even deny how much Black excellence has shaped not only America, but the world we live in today. Before I end this video, I would like to appreciate White George for finally changing his perspective and also using the platform to teach other people out there, because what you're doing is not really for the weak and it takes courage to do such things. So thank you very much, and in case you want to follow him, I will leave down in the comments his TikTok handle. He has got really amazing content, very informative, and trust me, you will love it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Do well to like this video, subscribe, comment also what you think about it, share it, and I can't wait to meet you in my next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye.